Hey everybody, Shane here, Shoebox Legends. Thanks for stopping by for another video. Today we are going to get back into the Sante Good Cream Cheese box. I have a lot of my singles off of eBay, some ComC, other pickups in here, and as you can see it's gotten quite full. There's really no room in here at all, so I need to move some of these out to make room for new incoming cards. So we're going to flip the camera around here and just kind of pull it random like we usually do and see what kind of goodies I have inside. Thanks. All right, so here we are with the Sante Good Cream Cheese box. And as I mentioned in the lead-in, this thing is stuffed really, really full. So let's just see if I can vacate one card to start here. And yeah, this is awesome. So this is going to be a 90s insert. Recently picked this up. The Gallery of Heroes, Sammy Sosa. These were from Topps Archives. Let me see if I can get this tape off here. These were inserted into Topps Archives, and the reason I dig these, they are stained glass cards. So I don't know if it's really going to come across here, maybe if I hold it up on video, but these are acetate, and when you get some backlighting behind them, they're just fantastic. Grabbed this, honestly, recently, just because I've really been focusing on collecting moments, which I feel like a broken record saying that again. But, you know, obviously in the late 90s, as controversial as it is now, Sammy Sosa and Mark McGwire were kind of the heroes of baseball. And I certainly enjoyed that home run chase, kind of played ignorant, I guess, although I was relatively young that summer. I think it was 1998. So I would have been, 15 years old that summer, but kind of ignorantly enjoyed that home run chase. And so even though it's widely recognized now as tainted by performance-enhancing drugs, I still want to have some Sosa and McGwire in my collection from that time period especially. So I thought this was just a cool 90s insert and picked that one up recently after doing the 90s episode on my buddy Dylan's channel, Double D Vintage Baseball Cards. I was inspired to go out and land that Sosa afterwards. Yeah, it's getting some serious glare. So we'll put Sammy off to the right there. So cool baseball insert to get started. Man, it's really tough to pull anything out of here. All right, we got a hockey card up next, and this is a cool one. This is a parallel that I've talked about so many times on the channel from the Upper Deck flagship set, which is akin to Topps flagship in the baseball world. This is the exclusives parallel. Check out this Joe Sakic. Shout out to my buddy Ken over at Ken's Cardboard, who I know is a huge Avalanche fan. But what an awesome overhead shot here of Sakic, seemingly about to score on Dwayne Rollison here. Looks like, and just awesome image. This is from the era where they were using rainbow foil on these parallels for the exclusives, the Upper Deck logo, the player name, and then obviously even the serial numbering here in the lower right corner is also rainbow foil. So really cool Sakic there. This guy was a beast in the late 90s. One of the best scorers of his day and just an exciting player to watch. Used to love the Avalanche and Red Wings matchups on ESPN in the mid 90s with guys like Sakic and Forsberg, teeing off against the likes of Yzerman and Sergei Fedorov. So just couldn't resist this relatively scarce parallel numbered to 100. I love that those go back all the way to the late 90s and are still made to this day. So there is a cool Joe Sakic hockey card. Let's get into the left portion of the box, and it looks like I have some ComC pickups here. All right, this one is going to be a little bit of foreshadowing. Cool card in its own right, but this is the 2018 Topps Mookie Betts. It is the gold parallel, serial numbered, of course, out of 2018, year of production. So I've talked about these a ton. Love my Topps Gold, love Mookie Betts. But I picked this one up in particular because, again, going back to my reasoning on the Sosa, trying to kind of collect baseball history. And for those who don't know or have forgotten, Mookie Betts had one of the all-time great seasons in 2018, the year that this card represents. So I'm trying to get a bunch of different versions of this card. As such, he won the MVP that year, the batting title, and the World Series with my hometown Boston Red Sox. And so just really, really happy to have scooped up this gold. Got this one only recently. I think this came in my latest ComC shipment. And if I recall, I paid about $5 for that Mookie, which I think is a very, very good deal when you consider his popularity, the popularity of the Topps Gold Parallel, and the year that he had in 2018. When you add all that together, pretty special card there. I have kind of a big one next, and I'm going to pull this specifically because I was asked in my last Sante Cream Cheese box video in the comments, there was some curiosity about what was in the one-touch magnetic holder that was in the middle of the box. I think it was actually this one here. And so I did mention that I would try to pull it in a future installment. And since the box is so crowded, seems like the perfect time to pull out a one-touch. So I do know what this card is. Player that just had a season for the record books. Just an amazing campaign. And his team is still alive in the playoffs. In fact, they're playing tonight, their first game in the second round of the Stanley Cup playoffs. It is Connor McDavid, of course, of the Edmonton Oilers, the best hockey player on the planet for my money. I've been talking about this guy since the very early days of the channel and before I was even on YouTube. Can't recommend enough getting some McDavid cards. I still think his prices are really good when you look at what he's doing in the context of the history of the game. And this particular card has kind of a cool story to it. So this is just the standard Upper Deck game jersey insert from the flagship Upper Deck set, which again is like akin to Topps flagship in baseball. Most years, these aren't anything special. You get a lot of white napkin relics, things like that. But three things that I really liked about this card, actually. Number one, it's a dual color relic with the two colors that I associate most with the Oilers, the blue and the orange. Matches the photo in the background nicely, which is always a plus and not always a guarantee. Number two, it has the all-important right language on the back that I need to see. This top loader is a little bit scratched up. This is the one that it came in. I'll transfer it to a nicer one after the video, but the card itself is pretty mint. And as you can see, what matters to me is it does at least claim that the memorabilia has been certified to us as having been used in an official NHL game. So this was not, event worn or photo shoot worn. This is a piece of McDavid's jersey that he wore in an NHL hockey game. And the third and final fact that makes this awesome, you may have noticed, those with a keen eye, this little black border here on the back says 2016-17 Upper Deck Series 1 Hockey. So this came out at the very beginning of the 2016 season. That would have been the beginning of McDavid's second season in the NHL. So logic tells you, based on that this is a piece of a jersey that McDavid actually wore, not only in an NHL game, but in an NHL game during his rookie season. And because of that, I just thought this was an awesome relic. And as an example of what I'm talking about with him still being kind of cheap in the grand scheme of things, think about like what a Mike Trout rookie year worn relic might set you back. And I have no problem comparing Connor McDavid to Mike Trout. He is the hobby darling, just like Trout was. He's finished top 5 in MVP voting just about every year in his career so far, every full season, just like Mike Trout did in his first 9 seasons or whatever it was. He's about to win his 3rd MVP this year over that span, which Trout also won 3 MVPs to begin his career. So there's just a ton of similarities there. And I paid for this Connor McDavid game used jersey $35. So just let that sink in. And I'm not, claiming that this is a deal that I got because I bought the card, 4 years ago or something. I bought that card this past NHL season during the season for $35. So yeah, really decent deals to be had out there on McDavid if you look around a little bit, and really, really pleased with how that one turned out. That is a card that I would even consider picking up, another copy of if I, certainly if I ran across it at that price point. All right, we're just about closing on the 10-minute mark here, so let's do just one more, and it's a very fitting choice. As I mentioned, the Stanley Cup playoffs continuing tonight, and we did see a Joe Sakic card earlier. Even though the Avalanche, sadly, were eliminated from this year's playoff battle. Check out this sweet Panini Prism Immortalized insert of Joe Sakic. Perfect companion card to that exclusives that we saw. Got the rainbow foil going on with the exclusives. You got the amazing Panini etching going on with this insert. I have shown these plenty of times on the channel. I do have a passive goal of completing the entire set of these, all in silver prism kind of refractor form like this with that amazing etching. I do have one or two big names still in the way, and these do not surface often. They are sneaky tough. You do see the base cards a lot, but if you're looking for these and you want this insane shine and this crazy Stanley Cup etching, what you want to do is check the back of the card and make sure that it has the word prism below the card number. That indicates that it's a silver prism or refractor card. And the way these worked, you would only get one or two silver prisms per box, and they could either be inserts like this or base cards. So Panini paralleled the entire set, both base cards and inserts in silver prism, and you would only pull, I think 1 to 2 per box. So you can see why these weren't easy. Really happy to have another one in my list. I'm not sure how many this brings me up to now that I've shown here on the channel, but probably half a dozen anyway. I think there are 20 cards on the checklist. So another one down. Great Joe Sakic Stanley Cup card there. Very fitting, as I said, with the playoffs continuing tonight. And with that, we're going to put a wrap on this installment of the Sante Good Cream Cheese box. A little bit of baseball, a little bit of hockey. Really appreciate you stopping by. I hope at least one of these cards interested you. And of course, I will be back in the very near future with some more sports card content. Till then, take care and enjoy the hobby, everybody.